Hello, Cancer. I'm Renee, and this is Waylighter Life Tarot. If you found this message, there is something here for you. So when something resonates, if you will like and subscribe, that helps others find the channel as well, and you to set a breadcrumb trail to return. All right. So there is a lot going on. This is my typical lead in right now. I say every reading. Um, for you, it's in your second house and your eighth house primarily, although certainly we could talk about the rest. We could talk about other houses as well. What does that mean, Renee? Well, it means that right now, the South Node is in your career sector, saying that the way that you have shown up to do work and to earn money is possibly going to change, especially with that eclipse coming up on August 12th, a solar eclipse in Leo. Jupiter is also in Leo, though, so it is protecting you. It is protecting your career, so you can know that you have some extra help. And if things happen where something goes away, you will likely find that something comes in almost simultaneously or right on the heels of it. So you do not have to worry about this. But these are lessons and values and perspective that you will be learning about over the next year to 18 months. All right, so let's take a look now and see what it is that Source wants to say to you. Um, I will say that my Cancer friends, including I'm feeling you, are feeling really tired right now. Uh, the High Priestess has shown up in almost every reading for the last 6 weeks. That's a long time. That means really months as these things play out. You have been holding space for the collective. You know this. You've needed extra alone time. You've needed extra silence. You've needed some soothing. You have felt frustrated at times, and just like there's any friction at all, it's just too much, and you have retreated some, and that is fine. You are also doing tremendous work internally for yourself. And that is wonderful. You may feel as though you've been able to stand up for yourself lately to someone close to you in a way, or at work, in a way that you had not been able to do before. And bravo to you. You are finding your voice and you are setting new boundaries. But the cards of karma wanted to come out, which suggests that there is a specific, I don't want to say wound. I think that's probably too strong, but there's like an irritation right now that is up for a little bit of healing. So let's see what that is. And here it is. Okay, y'all. Here it is. Exactly what we said. Prepare for change. Change is coming. And I know that you're like going, oh, because you've been anticipating this. You've known this. You're tapped into the collective. You're tapped into source, and you've been feeling it. But it's here. It's imminent. It says change is the only constant. Prepare for it with an open heart and mind. Well, you are particularly good at that. And what I'm getting here, Cancer, is that this change, the change that I was talking about for you, these changes are going on in a larger sense, and that is the space that you've been holding. So we'll get it, what my friend calls a dessert card at the end, because I feel like the Archangel Michael could give us a little bit of that soothing that we desperately need. But let's do a check-in with the tarot and see if Source will give us a little bit more clarity around this change that's coming. Well, that was fast. Okay, so we're ready. We have the Page of Wands, the Two of Cups, the Two of Swords, and the Seven of Wands. It's exactly what I said. You've been having some changes in boundaries, and you've had some tough conversations with someone close to you, but you've done it. So let's walk through these, and then we'll clarify them further. All right, Page of Wands. Just exactly as the conversation was, we could just end it there and just say, okay, Source gave the messages. Let's see, though, what Source has to say a little bit further. All right, Page of Wands, you are learning. You are learning about your own charisma. You are learning about the value of the imagination that you have in spades. Like, you are a muse. You are an artist. You are tapped into the emotional flow of the universe, and of other people. And I know that sometimes that is really hard. You feel feelings often on behalf of others, those who cannot allow themselves to feel them themselves. They may not even be aware of that. They may think actually that they're pretty in tune and that they're just staying calm when there's difficulty, but they're actually projecting them onto you, and you feel it all. I work with people, by the way, who feel that, who are very empathic and empathetic, which is not the same thing, and help them to operate better without the kind of draining that we can all feel. If you're interested in that, my information is in the box below. This learning that you've been doing, this imagination setting, and the conversation that you have had to have has been around uh, a really intimate partner, someone that you feel like and have felt like is a kindred spirit, but that in some way has you feel like they betrayed you. Or perhaps with the Five of Swords sometimes being a self betrayal, you may feel like you have not been true to yourself in this relationship because you've been trying to keep things on an even keel. You've been trying to be understanding the way that we just said that you were. You can imagine, to the point of the Page of Wands, you can imagine how it is that other people feel. You can imagine their perspective. And so it's very hard sometimes to not just be very forgiving and open. And um, not everyone is able to honor that. And that may be a betrayal to you as well. So you may be asking yourself, how do I hold my own boundaries? How do I hold my own boundaries with the Seven of Wands next, and also honor the other person's perspective? And that's a beautiful thing about you. Especially as we go through this time of change, though, it may, if this has been bubbling under the surface, it may be coming up and you may be seeing it with new clarity. So I'm told not to shuffle. Okay, so we're just going to take the cards that are on top for clarification. You have Death. Just a little light reading here for you, Cancer. We have Death, the Two of Swords, the Page of Cups, and the Five of Wands. So we're going in the right direction. I'm just going to say that. And remember, we're going to get some advice from Archangel Michael because I was asked to do that. I can see why now. All right. So with this imagination, actually, I'm seeing it as a continuation of that line. So we had, let me walk through the storyline, okay? We started with the Page of Wands, where you are using your imagination and you're using it to learn. You're using it in some way to have courage. You know, the Page of Wands is about going on the adventure and being willing to do that and trusting life in that. You've had a betrayal, and that betrayal was pretty deep because it was with someone who is a kindred spirit. It may even be that your higher self is the one showing you how you betray yourself sometimes, that you give away too much of your power. That's that Two of Cups and Five of Swords. You betray yourself. And both of these things can be true at the same time, by the way. You can experience this with another person and understand it also about yourself. That is actually the way that life works, or one way that it works. And you've been learning boundaries, and that boundary setting has been difficult and it has brought about an ending. So that was that consecutive quality that I was asked to keep that storyline going. It has brought about some ending, and that ending was a block. Now, I don't think this was the ending of the block because we don't have the renewal, we don't have a renewal card next. It is that in some way you've come to a crossroads and you may have to make a choice. How is it that I'm not going to betray myself anymore? How is it that I'm going to honor my high priestess, honor what I know intuitively is truth? Truth in the coming years is going to take on an even more elevated meaning. And I don't, that's not the right word because that sounds lofty and that's not what I mean. It's going to be even more critical than it has been. And it's not that there is one truth and that is it forever after. That's not at all what I mean. It is actually you leading the way with your intuition. It is about going inside and knowing what your own truth is and being willing. My voice is getting stuck there. Being willing, as I was just going to say, to speak up. about that and to say what your truth is. That's a hard thing for you, Cancer. At times, you know your truth. You can see truth and beauty in everyone. And you have to include yourself in that honor because you tend to put others first. It's a lovely quality, but it needs to be tempered. Think of it like the nodes of the moon. You move toward the North Star, and the things that you brought into life as your natural talents, at some point, they don't carry you forward anymore. They don't sustain you. And so you have to learn new things. That's moving toward that north node, that North Star, so to speak. But when you actually do that, when you manage to create this new life and learn these new things and use your gifts, that's actually what I was going to say. You find a way to bring your natural gifts back in. They open up again in the most surprising way. Something will land on your lap that you just didn't expect. You thought it was completely over, and it will return again. As an example, I was initially a reporter, a television reporter, and I left that life for some ethical reasons. I felt like um, I could not stick a microphone in people's faces when they were grieving. That's the bottom line. So uh, I thought that that was over, and yet here I am. I am storytelling, and I am talking with you on camera. I am using tools, spiritual tools that I've used for decades, and using them in a new way to connect with new people. That's an example, okay? And that is going to help you toot your own horn a little bit. Page of Cups is about the call to the heart. It is about learning about emotion. Now, you're no stranger to emotion, clearly. You are the one who teaches us about emotional intelligence, right? And in that, you have to bring yourself in. So, this is the call to the heart. Something is calling you. This kindred spirit, I think it's really your higher self that is calling you. I love that. I really see that. Notice that they're both on the beach, by the way, right? Okay. And in this boundary setting, and this boundary, someone may have crossed you, but this boundary setting, you make this narrow walk over the water to the other side. Water, of course, being emotion, right? So you are going to get to the other side of this. This is not just an end, it's also a beginning. I'm surprised that some renewal card hasn't showed up here, but we do have that boundary setting is going to settle back down a little bit. We have the Five of Wands. So the Seven of Wands is more of a true conflict. The Five of Wands is a little bit more around, I don't want to say play acting, but it is more playful. It maintains kind of a sense of the group or of the relationship without having to put an ultimatum down. And I like the image in this one of a race because certainly there's competition here, but he's smiling. I don't know if you can see that, but he's smiling and other people are waving him on. So there's not that kind of deadly sense of battle. Okay. You may feel embattled. You have been really leaned on, and I have not heard any readers really talking about this, but I believe that the High Priestess, which is you and Pisces, actually, have been doing a whole lot of work on behalf of the collective as we've seen a lot of toxicity in the world and people really struggling to learn from that and to make new decisions, which is, to be honest with you, I find that exciting. Um, and I bet if you think of it in that way, and acknowledge the work that you've been doing, I hope that you may too. All right, dessert is ready, apparently. Everything was just right here for you today. Um, we have from Archangel Michael. Ooh, okay. So something is not yet time. Ooh, I love this. Actually, it's not time to open your heart. Oh my gosh. You guys, look at this. It is not time to open your heart. This is what we've been talking about. This boundary setting, okay? That you have to learn first to articulate your own truth. It doesn't mean being cruel. Of course, it doesn't mean that. Um, you can be understanding of another person, And there's something that you have to stand for here. There's something that you have to stand on some principle or need or something. Factor yourself in. Factor in you for you. This beautiful kindred spirit, let it be you taking care of you, and know that that's important. And not only is it suggested, it's needed, because that's the preparation for the changes that are coming. If you can't stand for yourself, you will not be able to continue standing for others. You will not be able to continue doing the work of processing. You will not be able to hear the voice of truth because you are not willing to speak it, and you are not willing to see it in yourself. It's a harsh reality. I know I'm kind of like speaking truth here, and it's a little uncomfortable to the point. But it's this is the preparation. This is why you've been encountering these conflicts lately. There's been a purpose to them, and it hasn't been to be harsh. It's the universe ultimately trying to look out for you and to make sure that you know the strength that you have inside, and that you grow stronger still by owning it. It's beautiful. And it's part of what the difference is between painting beautiful pictures, which are gorgeous and important in themselves, and giving others the chance to view them, allowing them to take part in that. It's not a great analogy, but it is what came to mind. I was seeing a room with a whole lot of paintings, just sitting against the wall. Own your truth, own your beauty, and own your power. And lastly, use your voice. I'm not trying to be directive. I'm telling you what I'm hearing. I'm getting this like I'm like being told, get out of the way. So hear that directly from source. You are playing a pivotal role right now, and it's not being as much talked about, but you now have heard it, and I hope that the words have landed in your heart, because that's where they're intended to go. All right. Wishing you beautiful blue skies and white fluffy clouds. I will talk with you again soon.